I'm sure we can all have a bit of sympathy for as we get a little bit older. A busy week at work is not so easily recovered from like we could in our 20s. I added up my lessons for June because I had to do my timesheet. So you have to add up your lessons, the amount of classes you taught in the month. And I taught 97 English classes in June. And I'll admit that I feel it more at the weekends now, and in the evenings as well. If I go for my run and then cook dinner and sit down and draw. I'm pretty much, I've got to be in bed by 10 o'clock, 10:30 at the latest person these days. But that's a good thing. I don't think there's any real problem with that. It means that I'm getting a healthy amount of sleep and I'm looking after myself. So the fact that skating gets me out at the weekend when maybe I'm feeling like, oh, I'm just so tired, I could just sit here and play a game or read or whatever it is that I might want to do. But then I think the thing that skating has really sort of instilled in me, something that I've always known but had very great difficulty in articulating, is just how much bullshit there is in life, you know, and so much of it is just brought on so gradually. You know, it's just an accumulation of actions when we finally leave our so-called formal education, and then before you know it, you know, you do turn 40 like I did yesterday, and you know, I'm damn glad that I made that choice. Well, getting on for probably 4 years ago now, maybe a bit longer, to make a big change in my life and come to Japan. And yeah, I basically invested all of my savings into making it happen. I'm glad I did. I've talked about it at length in other videos, so I don't really want to talk too much on that side of things, but the end result, the reason that skating just really reinforces the sentiment within me that life can be filled up with just so much inconsequential bullshit, you know, stuff that really doesn't matter if you're not careful. You know, things like jockeying for position, for power, for authority, for status, and all these kinds of things. But when we're dead, we're all dead in the same way. None of us, I mean, from our own perspective, we're no longer part of this particular consciousness, so really wherever or whatever legacy you leave behind you is, you know, only lives on in the minds of those that you affect. So if anything, yeah, I suppose your actions in life do count, but it doesn't mean that you should make a virtue of them or worry about them too much. You know, there has to be a great deal of letting down of your hair in life, I think, to really feel the full fruits of being alive and living. And the really simple way that skating does it is that, you know, I've always been a very active person in life, you know, with running, with cycling, and now obviously with the skating. I've always been a very active person, and I feel bad when I'm not active, but skating has got me moving my body in the last couple of years in a way that as I got older I wasn't. And it's amazing how you know, how many faculties we control over our body, our balance, our posture, our I don't know, a bit of style when we move through this thing that we call life. And skating just really just sort of brings it all back, that control over it, the physical joy of being alive. It's just the best thing in the world, and I am very definitely not the world's greatest skater. But each time I go, I improve a little bit more. And it's tough work in the summer. I get tired. It's really hot here. It's been about 32 degrees here today, and humid with that as well. So, yeah, it's hard work. So, I lose my concentration and energy after a couple of hours. I managed to accomplish a few things that I hadn't done before. I managed to do that little kick a ramp thing and rode that little, I suppose you could call it a half pipe. Because it was a bike cut in half, but long ways rather than, what I mean, it was like a 50-50 ride, wasn't it? So it wasn't a grind because there was nothing to grind, it was just a plastic pipe. But I did that. That was cool. That was good feeling. Did that about 3 times actually. And I was managing to practice my ollie as part of that, which was cool. Which I'm getting back, which is awesome. And obviously as I got tired, I lost my no comply again because I just lost the energy even to turn my shoulders really. And that's critical for that particular trick. But yeah, to start with, I've got my no comply 180 back better than I ever had it before. I'm moving well now, so that's awesome. My shove it's pretty good these days. Again, as I get tired, I lose the concentration and the energy to properly put the strength as I slightly crouch to give it the little shove back. But it's there. And the ollie, like I say, I think is coming back better than it was. I feel that's looking pretty good now. So that's rad. And likewise on the ramp, I discovered today that obviously the safety rope is great for me learning, but I do need to let go of that and make sure I'm getting the basics down with the rock and roll. Rock to fakie, not the rock and roll, because I wasn't doing any of that today. The rock to fakie, and especially the tail stall. Because it's very clear that what is actually keeping me upright is actually the strength that I'm maintaining in my arms to keep me upright, because obviously I'm pulling down on that rope, and that obviously is what keeps me steady as I go into the tail stall. But obviously take that away, and the tail stall sort of went a bit south, quite literally. But I managed a couple of tail stalls very comfortably, and so all of that is reminding me, where I need to be, keeping my balance, my posture, all these things, all things that are really critical to not only being safe on a skateboard, but to execute things with some style and some rhythm. So the fact that I'm talking about things like this, to me, means that I'm spending my life well, on my terms. For some people, they really would honestly see what I do as a complete waste of time, but that's okay, because I would judge some of the things that other people do to be a complete waste of time. So, it's, I'm glad that my life is concerned more with those kinds of aspects than worrying too much about, I don't have much, authority or position or power or whatever it might be. I don't care for anything like that. I don't want that. None of that stuff matters. And there's going to come a day where, my body won't be able to take the skating. I'm hoping there's a good 10, 15, maybe 20 years left in me yet doing it. Maybe more, who knows, I just want to continue to do it whilst I can. And that's the thing that I've really felt, is that it's really made me value every bit of vitality that I have in my body and in my spirit, that still, and I want to make the most of it. Because there's going to come a day where that is going to be just too difficult for me. And I will either have to reduce my prospects with it, or maybe there'll sadly come a time where I just can't really do it anymore. But I'm going to feel better for having done the very best that I could whilst I could in my life. So yeah, tomorrow morning I'm going to go to work and I'm going to ache like a bitch and I'm going to be sore. But I've not picked up any more bruises or bangs today, so that's good. So still just got the bruises from last weekend that I'm recovering from. Not that they're painful or anything, but they're there nonetheless. So yeah, it's just, skating is just the perfect fit for me. It's something that really draws on my powers of perseverance and toughness, just to keep trying and keep going and just never give up. Life is way, way, way too short. Whenever the time comes where, sadly, maybe I have to say that, well, maybe my time in Japan is done. I'm going to have a lifetime's worth of memories that are just intrinsic and important to me. Those moments of those kids sort of talking to me and all the rest of it, far more profound and meaningful to me than any business meeting talking about strategy and all that bullshit. I'd much rather have a kid tell me that we're doing our best together than all the other wank that adults fill their time talking and squabbling about. So skating's rad. Writing in my diary sort of maybe January of last year, sort of like by my 40th birthday or 39th birthday or whatever it is, I'm gonna manage to learn how to do this, and I'll write things like kickflip, this kind of stuff. Still can't kickflip, but never say never though. But rather I'm just going with it from weekend to weekend, and don't be scared to try try new things. You know, give it a go if you feel it's potentially within your capability. Don't take undue risks, obviously, but you know, I just want to enjoy it. And you know, and if each weekend I make a little bit of progress, then I make a little bit of progress. But the main thing is that I have fun more than anything. That, I think, is my only objective. Have fun. And I think one of the really nice things about going to that particular park is that there is nothing wrong about going to a park where you've got a lot of youngsters who are really pushing themselves, really trying to get some, you know, clips that they can put on Instagram, you know, because they've got, you know, some of these kids, they have the potential to go on to great things in skateboarding, and I want them to. But this park is a little bit more gentle. The ramps aren't so high and all the rest of it, so that suits me as I recover from the injury. An actual proper A86, I think. But yeah, it's it's just a good environment to be around. You know, people are sharing the space nicely. You know, you've got a good warm atmosphere. Some evenings, you know, we all order food and we eat together. You know, and it's given me a sense of community that I otherwise kind of lack in my life. Because apart from maybe one school, two at an absolute push, I'm not really part of a workplace community. You know, like, I'm only with these people at work. You know, I don't socialise with them outside of work, and even if that opportunity was there, I think my interaction with that would be very minimal these days, considering I no longer don't drink alcohol, haven't done for over 2 years now. So it's given me a community to belong to that I need in Japan, you know, because I don't have other ALT friends in Nabari. I'm thankfully still very much in touch with Bayer, and we stay in contact, and we will see each other again before long. But yeah, it's a deeply valued community by me. So it gives me that as well. You know, I like that. I like talking to the kids. You know, that it gives me an opportunity to interact with them in a way that they probably don't experience with their own ALT at school. So they can see that, you know, foreigners do have a life outside of being English teachers or stuff like that. You know, and hopefully it gives them a good experience as somebody who isn't Japanese, so that they can think well of us. You know, we're all people. You know, what unites us in that place is the love of skating. You know, the love of the atmosphere, the community, the whole, you know, the whole vibe, the whole scene. That's what it's about. It's a way of life. You know, all of this, you know, the driving to Matsusaka and in the past to Hanamaki when I lived up in Iwate. You know, know, it is a way of life. And even in that first year, when that silly idea that I had just before my 38th birthday, thought I'm going to get a skateboard. I enjoyed a manga about a skater. I'm going to get a skateboard again, and let's see where it goes. And of course, obviously back then they hadn't opened the new park, Umidori Koen in Miyako, where the old City Hall, using Japanese, but where the old Shakusho used to be. They built a new park to commemorate, obviously, where the tsunami obviously crashed over the wall in Miyako, where some of the most famous, sadly most famous videos or scenes of the Higashi Nihon Daishinsai were filmed from the balcony of the Shakusho as the Kuroi Nami, the black wave crested over the top and decimated the the downtown area of Miyakoshi. And so I used to have to drive up to an old rest stop. It wasn't really a Michinoeki, it wasn't a road station, it was just a rest stop that was on the old Route 45 that I can never say it right, and I probably never will now because I no longer. It was something like Uno Sugo Nandai or something. I can't remember, but it was this old rest stop just before this massive old arch bridge that had been superseded by the brand new, well, not brand new, that section of the Kosokudoro was actually about 12 or so years old, but anyway, regardless, there was this old rest stop, and I used to have to go all the way up there, and it was about 45 minutes drive from Miyako. It was in Tanahatamura, and but it was, the reason I went up there was it was a flat space, relatively. In fact, the best part of it wasn't flat at all, it was on a slope. The flat part was like this really rough old tarmac that was absolutely full of gravel, and so wheel bite was a frequent hazard, and yeah. And anyway, went up there nonetheless, and and I gradually taught myself how to get the basics of skating down again, and then of course they opened the park in Miyako about was it that year? I guess it probably was, yeah, around about September time of that year. And so that gave me somewhere that was just down the road that I could skate in. It was just flat concrete, but it was ideal for learning flat ground. There's no ramps or anything, Occasionally somebody would bring a kicker ramp or a rail or something like that, but I wasn't really ready for anything like that myself. Certainly not a rail, a kicker ramp was alright, but yeah, and then obviously I got in touch with the skate park in Hanamaki department, and that's when it all started, really. I started meeting new people. It pushed me to get outside and be brave with using Japanese, and I really understood so little, but I made new friends there, and my Japanese improved, my skating improved, my everyday life improved, because I found myself a community to belong to, which was just, you really need that when you live overseas, because you don't have your family. Your friends might be short on the ground, and yeah, it was just what I needed. And thank goodness I did make those connections, because obviously when I had my broken wrist last October, I went there with Bayer to Ishinoseki city, the southernmost, but city very much on the prefectural boundary between Iwate and Miyagi, and we hadn't gone out for me to skate. It was literally me just popping my head into this festival, this riverside festival that they had, and having a bit of a skate there, meet up with a couple of the peeps that I knew through department, as well as another skater that I hadn't met her at department, but I knew her through Instagram, and she was a friend of Lena's. And Lena and another of her friends who was just starting to skate was there, and I was going to meet this other girl as well, but sadly I picked up my injury before I even met Motokichi-san, and the rest, as they say, is history. But because obviously I knew Lena, she was absolutely crucial for helping at the hospital when obviously Bea was very much panicking of what to do and all the rest of it. I was really in no good place to be of much use myself, because obviously I was in an extraordinary amount of pain, having broken both my ulnar and radius severely. So yeah, Lena now lives in Tokyo. She's living the skate dream, and I hope she's filming lots of parts. I hope that brings some really good shit to her life, because that would just be so rad. So yeah, I just find, this is just so much more meaningful to me than so much of the other bullshit that you can easily fill your life with. It's just real, you can feel it, you can feel everything about it, that sense of joy of belonging to something, the pain of it, literally the physical pain of it, but you can feel the best feeling in the world when you finally manage to do something. You think, yeah, I've taught myself something new, I can move through this world in a new and exciting way, and you just know that you're just going to continue to improve that. That's just the best feeling. It really honestly is. It's just the best feeling. So I just want to keep on doing it for as long as I can keep on doing it. So I can't remember the exact saying, but there's something along the lines of you don't get old because you stop skating, you get old because I can't remember what it is, but there's some saying along these lines. But I do have another saying that's actually written on the back of this t-shirt, and ikiru no tame ni skate suru, ikiru no tame ni, skate to live to skate. And yeah, that's I know it seems so superficial, and I'm not doing this. I think it should be plainly obvious to everybody that I'm not doing this because I'm thinking oh yeah, because if I keep up this, I could become really good. Somebody might start flowing me boards, or heaven forbid, somebody might think, oh yeah, we're going to turn Vicky pro. Not in a million years. I don't do it for that. Never have done, because that's not what I want. What I want is to go to skate parks, have fun, meet people, share the experience, build a community, and belong to it and contribute back to that in whatever way I can. There's a little bit of a dream that I have that maybe one day that these people get to know me well enough that maybe I can go skating, and some of these little kids, maybe I can give them a little bit of an English lesson centered around skating. I know it sounds dumb, but I think to myself, wouldn't that be so rad? It make English so meaningful to them that we can connect it to the experience that they're having at the skate park. That's cool. That's not like jibu no takaramono o tsutayou. Like, let's share our treasure. Yeah, sure, our treasure is skating, but let's talk about it in a more natural English way, kind of thing. So yeah, I love the clarity that it gives me in my life. That's it, and that's what I lacked those 7 months or so that I I wasn't able to skate because of my injury. So yeah, I think that's pretty shit hot personally. So there's many things that I love about it. You know, there's the thought that's entered my mind that, you know, I can stop at a convenience store on the way back and I'm going to buy myself a coffee and I'm going to buy myself a chocolate pastry or something like that. Bea will laugh at that if she sees this. Or hears this. Because she knows it's basically what I do all the time. It's just my thing in Japan, you know. That's me living my best life. A Family Mart medium hot coffee and the chocolate croissant. That's me living my best life. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to sum it up. My life is composed of going to work to teach English, sometimes in ways that I don't agree with, but I do it. And now I find myself having to lead very much from the front, and that gives me an opportunity to sometimes hopefully do a little bit of a better job than perhaps sometimes I've experienced when I have been very much the secondary teacher. I'm not perfect, far from it, but I do it and I do enjoy it overall. You know, it's getting better. I earn about the equivalent of £1,200 a month doing it. I taught 97 classes, like I say. I own my own little van, which I'm going to go overnight camping in, find places to skate along the coast or something like that. Just have fun. I sometimes skate through Nabari to go to the supermarket or down to Lawson. That's fun. I go and see shrines, I go and visit castles, I go and look at second-hand stores and old video games. I draw my manga. You know, I draw. I just, you know, my life is very much about expressing, you know, me to my, you know, essential identity, really. You know, it's not, I don't, apart from sometimes at work where I feel like, oh, this is a bit bullshitty, you know, my life is very much balanced now, very much in the favour of doing things that matter to me, that resonate with me, that feel true to me. You know, I don't know how long it will last. Let's hope it lasts a while, eh? You know, I've got something precious, and like any human, I'm going to do my best to cling on to it for as long as I can. But at least what I'm trying to cling on to now is honest and true to myself. There's no context, there's no sub game, there's no bullshit about it. It's just